welcome back to my channel. My name is Eliza, if you don't know, which you might not because I literally never say it in my videos, but hello and welcome. This is my second 52 weeks, this is my second video in the 52 weeks of socks video series. If you hear a loud sound, like a rumbling sound, it's the washing machine. I am doing my second pair of socks, and how did I find the pattern for this? Well, I think I already showed you in my last video that I had started this sock. So I just flipped through the book and picked one that I liked. And it had kind of like a spooky name. It's called lycanthrope, or something that has to do with werewolves. But I'll look in a second. I did already knit one of the socks. I did already knit one. Here, it's folded up right now. And this is how I'm doing this video series. What I'm doing is I'm knitting a full sock, and then I'm not going to start recording my process until I start the second sock, in order for me to indeed knit both socks every single video. So we already have one knit, and I just started the second one, and this is really sad, but I started the second one at 12:30 today. It is now 4 o'clock, and I probably knit for most of that time. I did knit for most of that time, so let's say it was about 3.5 hours. Are you kidding me? That's all I could do in 3.5 hours? This does have the lace pattern in the rib, so that took a little bit of time, but I'm just so slow, especially when I first start something with double points. I'm so slow. So 3.5 hours. I thought I'd be able to get more done today. Guess not. Well, I'm gonna keep working on this, but this is what I got done this morning. I'm gonna do my work stuff. I'm gonna take my dinner break with my mother, who is coming here to have dinner with me. We're gonna get veggie burritos, yummy, and then I'm going to work on this more, so we'll see how far I can get by the end of the night. Let's look for the pattern that I'm knitting so I can show you. I have the book with me, and what I've been doing, which I think is so smart, is I have all these clear post-its, and I've been putting the clear post-its on the knitting charts in the book and crossing out the rows so I can keep track of where I am in the knitting chart. It's page number 127 in the paperback. It's actually called Vervain. Vervain. I think, isn't Vervain the plant that kills werewolves? So it's pretty close. That's what they look like. I should have done purple because I love the way these look. They have a lace pattern, and then they have stockinette, and you knit the left sock and the right sock differently. So the lace pattern is on the outside of both feet. And the lace pattern is a little bit more complicated than the one I did for the Erica socks. So maybe that's also why it's taking a little bit longer. I'm also probably just slow. Okay, so I'm planned for today. I'm gonna see, this is the only thing I'm knitting for the rest of the day. So I'm gonna see how much progress I can make. It's about 4 p.m.-ish right now. This is one chart repeat. So the charts for this pattern are 20 rows. So that's one chart repeat. So I'm gonna try to do at least 2 more by the end of the night. I'm so excited to have these. I tried the other one on today and it fit much better than my Erica socks. So we're already getting better at sock knitting. One more thing, the yarn that I'm using, isn't this sad? I'm using my iPhone to film right now, and look at it showing you this yarn. If you watched my last Fuzzy Wuzzy knitting podcast, I was using my Canon camera, and it was, maybe because it didn't have autofocus on, it was not able to focus on objects, and my iPhone is come on. But anyway, this is the yarn that I'm using, and also if you watched the Fuzzy Wuzzy knitting podcast that I posted this past week, you'll know that this is a mystery yarn, and I have no idea what it is. But I am hoping there's a tag inside of this yarn, so we'll know by the end of the video, I hope. Because I do really enjoy this yarn. It knits very nicely. It's twisted tightly, I guess, and I'm not poking it with my needles, which is nice. And it's pretty cool looking. So I'm really liking this, and I hope we can figure out what it is by the end of this video. Back to sock knitting.
Where's my burrito? Where's my burrito? Oh!
I actually made a lot of progress on the sock within like, I checked in at like 4 p.m. yesterday. After that check-in, I think from then until like 10, I was knitting for probably like 4 more hours total. And when I got home, I had just about finished the heel flap. I had a couple more rows to go. I was working on this little slip knit heel. This is the heel. Oh my god. I just woke up, can you tell? Okay, and then I continued to work the heel, and I like did the little shaping right here. And then I picked up stitches back around the ankle where the lace pattern is. You really can't see anything. This space dye is like, did I make a horrible decision when I decided to use this like Monsters Inc. space dye on this beautiful lace pattern? Like, you can't see anything, but hopefully like once it's blocked and it's on my foot and it's like stretching out a little bit, it'll look pretty. This is the progress that I made last night. I was watching the new Pretty Little Liars show. I forget what it's called. Is it called Pretty Little Liars? I don't remember. I really want to finish this today because I want to start another one. I want to make one that's not from the book, but I'm like determined to work my way through 52 weeks of socks. So I'm like, how can I knit socks from this book and also knit my own socks when a pair of socks takes me about a week? But I did this in like a day. So maybe I can knit 1 sock in 2 days, and then I can knit 2 socks in 4 days, and that would give me 3 days left in the week to knit 1.5 socks. But then I wouldn't be able to do anything else. So that's a terrible plan. What do you guys think so far? Did I make a horrible choice when I decided to do this beautiful lace pattern with this hectic yarn? Also, I got to the end of my yarn ball that I was knitting with, and I don't think there is a tag in there, unfortunately, but I do have one more. I really hope there's a tag in here so we can figure out what this is and buy some more. They're finished. They're both finished. I don't know how long the first one took. The second one I started on Saturday, and now it's Tuesday, and I knit, I think it was Saturday, right? I think it was Saturday. I knit all day Saturday, or maybe it was Sunday, whatever. It's in here somewhere. I started one day this weekend. It was either Saturday or Sunday. Now it's Tuesday, and I have 2 socks. These are the Vervain socks. These have a stockinette and a lace pattern, and the lace pattern is like the opposite on each foot. You know what, let's just talk about this after I block them. They're gonna look way better after they're blocked. Although they do look like way better right now than the Erica socks looked when they weren't blocked. Like, those were very wrinkly. Okay, let's block them. I need to put my mask back on. Oh yeah. My socks are finished. Pair number 2, finished. And it's only been like a week since I finished the last pair, so like we're kind of right on track. We gotta keep this momentum going. Like, can I do this entire book in 1 year? I would be very impressed with myself if I actually did this in 1 year. I was thinking about this the other day, how like I started this, I mean, this is only the second video obviously, but I started this with like the intention of doing everything in this book, and I know it's called 52 weeks of socks because there are 52 weeks in a year, so it's like a year of socks in it. It like didn't sink in that this would take me a year to complete this series. When I think about stuff like this, I'm like, oh yeah, it's just like a fun thing to do right now, but like if I'm actually consistent and I actually keep doing this, I'll be doing this for a year, which is wild. Anyway, back to the present. I finished my second pair of socks. I attempted to take a picture, like a full body picture where you could see my socks, but I'm alone, and I was like, oh, I'll use my Canon camera, but I'll just turn it on its side and record video and like freeze and like screenshot the video, and I don't think it worked out very well. I'll put some pictures in so you can see my struggle. But what I have to show right now are the Vervain socks. Here they are on my feet right now. I'm like looking for something to stand on because the person who used to have this studio did a lot of art with charcoal, and so the floor is like, one time I was walking around barefoot in my studio and my feet were like black because there's still like charcoal residue on the floor. Nobody cleaned it and I haven't cleaned it. Anyway. Here are the socks. They're very stripy. This is probably like the worst way to show you this. How am I gonna do this? Oh, I'll stand on a chair. Ta-da! I'm gonna take them off now. Here's one. And the other one. These are the Vervain socks. And I know I was really questioning my yarn and pattern combination throughout this video, and I feel like it's okay. It doesn't bother me, although you really cannot see the lace pattern at all. It's getting lost in the space dye. So I don't think they're like ugly or anything like that. Like, I'll definitely wear them. I just think what I learned from this yarn and pattern combination is like a really busy yarn is probably best with a simple sock, because I think it's pretty hard to tell that there's like this beautiful lace pattern on them. I do love them and I will wear them, but that is what I learned from this sock. I also learned how to do a slip stitch stockinette heel, which was very simple. I liked this one so far. Another thing I've learned over the past 2 pairs of socks is both of these socks called for a long tail cast on. And I don't know if my cast on is just a little bit tight, but I have noticed that like these aren't very stretchy. I wonder if maybe the next time there's a 1x1 rib at the cuff, I'll try Italian cast on, because I think that one's pretty like nice and stretchy. And I don't think my tension is as tight when I do Italian cast on. So maybe I'll try that, because I don't know, I just wish they were a little bit more, I wish they were a little stretchier at the top. That's not really a pattern issue, that could be like a tension issue. But overall, 10 out of 10. I love these socks, they're so cool. I love the yarn. Oh yeah, we still have to figure out what the yarn is, and I really hope we can figure it out. Where are the balls? This is all I have left, 2 tiny little balls. I finished these socks the other day at work and I didn't have anything to knit, and I was like, what am I gonna do for the next like 2 hours? I don't have anything to knit, and this is starting to come apart. But I started, I don't know if you can tell what that is at all, but it's a tiny lace heart. So these are the 2 balls that we have left. Pretty sure there's nothing in this one. It's pretty small, it's very squishy. But this I think is the original ball from my Fuzzy Wuzzy Knitting Podcast episode 2, where I was like, I think there's a piece of paper in here. I don't really think there's anything in here. But I'm gonna take it apart just so we can see, you know, just so we can see, be sure, since I really wanna know what this yarn is. I really don't think there's anything in here, which is such a bummer because I really like this yarn. Maybe I can like go into the Imagineknit, like maybe on their website they still have it, you know? That seems like unrealistic since I bought this yarn like 2 years ago and it was on sale, so they were probably trying to get rid of it. Yeah, I don't think there's anything in here. This is just yarn wrapped around yarn. Dang it! Sock number 2, beautiful lace pattern that you can't see. Fun space dye in
mystery yarn that is very lovely to knit, but we have no idea what it is, unfortunately. If you, I mean, I don't like, if you've ever seen this yarn, like, I don't even know how to ask this because, like, I don't know, the internet like brings people together for sure, but like, have you seen this yarn? Like, do you know what this is? Like, this is all we can go off of, is this one colorway. Blue, purple, and like, I don't know, it's a mystery. But yeah, that's it. That's pair number 2. And now we're gonna move on to pair number 3. Let's just tuck them under my hood so we can look at them as I say goodbye. Thanks so much for watching this video, and don't forget to like the video if you're enjoying this series, and subscribe. It definitely helps me out when you subscribe. It lets me know that you're enjoying this content, and we all know how YouTube works. Let me know of any more pattern suggestions from the book. I'm also trying to think of like fun ways to pick patterns from the book. So if you have any like fun suggestions for how we can pick patterns, since we're not going in any order, it would be a lot of fun to have like, you know, like a fun way to pick the next one, like random number generator, or like, so if you have any suggestions on like a fun way that we can pick the next pattern, let me know in the comments. I'm very open to like trying fun ways to pick patterns and yarn combinations. I also have a lot of yarn, so we could do like pick a random yarn, pick a random pattern, and like see how it turns out. Like, we definitely learned something in this video with these, like wild space dye plus beautiful lace pattern. Probably not the best idea. All right, well, I'm gonna edit this video and then start knitting another sock. Bye!